Yeah, if I could go back in time, I would never get married and I would also never have children.
This is going to be one of my hotter takes, but I don't believe that we should aspire to marriage or lifelong relationships.
For most of my life, especially when I was younger, I wanted to get married. I wanted to be someone's wife and get a little ringy ding on my finger.
I do not want to get married. There's nothing enticing about marriage to me. The men of this generation do not know the first thing about partnership.
Nobody gives a fuck about being married. Nobody. I don't know anybody that wants to be fucking married.
Marriage, they say, is a beautiful thing. Will it still be a beautiful thing when the main reason of your existence on earth is being threatened? So today we're going to be discussing about the reason why some ladies say they will never get married, or the reason why some that are already married and then divorced say they will never ever try to get married again. So guys, before we're talking about that, please, if you are coming across us for the first time, kindly hit on the red subscribe button, drop your opinion at the comment section. If you find this topic relatable, just let us know at the comment section. So guys, some ladies have come out now to say that they will never ever get married again, that marriage is overrated. So guys, let's listen to some of these beautiful ladies and how they drop their opinion concerning this very topic.
My goodness, you are so beautiful. You're 24 years old. Never get married, ever. Whenever I look back, definitely getting married ruined everything in my life. Yeah. That's my son. I love him a lot, but he ruined my life. Yeah, if I could go back in time, I would never get married and I would also never have children. Never do that. It'll ruin your life. You are so beautiful. You should have 5 boyfriends at the same time. You're single. You should be dating everybody. Just continue to travel. Spend all your money on experiences and traveling and never ever settle down. Never have children and never get married. Ever. Ugh, I remember when I was as young as you. You're so beautiful and no man will ever deserve you. Never trust a man. They're all cheaters. Every single man will cheat. So never ever trust a man. Never get married, queen. You're so beautiful. Never get married.
I do not want to get married. There's nothing enticing about marriage to me. The men of this generation do not know the first thing about partnership. And historically, women have been conditioned to forsake their life, their needs, their desires, to become someone's wife and mother. I don't want any of that. The thing that is most important to me right now is finding my purpose in life. That's literally what keeps me up at night. What was I placed on this earth to do? And I don't think that you can give that question your undivided attention if you're also responsible for a partner, a household, or just generally taking care of someone else. I'm not saying married people can have purpose. I'm just saying finding your purpose requires a certain level of selfishness that marriage doesn't easily allow. Beyonce is one of the women that I look up to in terms of people who are high up in their careers and who really inspire me. Yes, she's married. Yes, she has kids. But at the core of that woman, her purpose came first. All the sacrifices, all the hard work that she did early on in her career, she's reaping the benefits today. She can beat her chest and say, yes, I did something with my life. I'm going to be remembered for it. And she partnered up with someone who provided that environment for her to shine. How many women can say that about their partners?
The real reason why I will not get married is because I used to get on the dating sites and take people's husbands' money. That's why I'm gonna keep it a buck. When me and my friends wanted to go out of town, I'd be like, shit, y'all wanna go out to Dallas? They be like, yeah. I'm like, shit, let me jump on the site real quick. Jump on there, tell them, I'm like, yeah, I wanna come see you. They be like, for real? I'm like, yeah, send me the money. They'll send me the money, now hit up the next nigga, hey, that was the gas money. Hey, that's the hotel bill. Hey, that was for us to eat. And every time I find out that all 3 of them niggas was married. Y'all get on these dating sites looking for love. You need to be on there looking for opportunity. What can this nigga do for me? Because 9 times out of 10, he is somebody's husband. He's somebody's husband. He's somebody's husband. My husband was somebody's husband. I didn't even know he was somebody's husband until the wife had called me. That's another story for another day. You want to know it? I'll tell y'all the story, baby. It was so funny. The nigga ended up going to jail. Oh, it was a lot.
Nobody gives a fuck about being married. Nobody. I don't know anybody that wants to be fucking married. Everybody that I know is married wants to be fucking divorced. Nope. I'm telling you right now, nobody I know wants to be married anymore. Nobody I know, they want out of their marriage. They want to be fucking divorced. I don't know why you guys glamorize marriage like it's this fucking end game. It's not the fucking end game anymore. Women don't want to be in that bullshit anymore. They don't want to do every fucking thing. And then you be fucking horrible and cheat and lie. Most of you, not all of you. Nobody gives a fuck about that anymore. Nobody.
They don't want to deal with this shit anymore. They don't want to be around you. The smell of you. When you pull in the driveway, they want to... The fuck don't you people understand? What don't guys understand? They don't want to be a trad wife to a dude that doesn't pay for everything. That doesn't do everything. If the woman is a trad wife, you do everything else. And you guys don't want to do it. No, because you want to be the woman and the man, right? You want to be the woman and the man. Something your mom taught you growing up, right? You were the husband to your mom, who was the wife. No woman is going to be a trad wife to a motherfucker that ain't going to do everything else.
Okay, so I'm about to say something really controversial. You might not like it, but you might. You might find truth in it. And I might answer a question that you guys ask me all the time, because I do get the question a lot in the comments a lot. Like, why aren't you married? He doesn't love you. You're wasting your time. Boys know within this first 6 months if they're gonna marry you. Blah, blah, blah. All those questions, y'all probably see them. Whatever. Did you know, this is real, that the divorce rates are at an all-time high right now? Did you know that? I'm just saying, I see so many young couples getting married and then divorced 3 years later. Or they'll have a kid, divorced 3 years later. Like, so many. And that's not to say all. Noah's parents got married young and they're still together now. Like, that's not to say all. But I feel like a lot of them get a bad rap and don't take the time to really get to know their spouse or like the person that they're gonna marry. Me and Noah, we are best friends through and through. I'll tell you what, like, we are best friends, and that's because we slowed down, took the time to get to know each other, what he loves, what he doesn't like, what triggers him, how to fix a fight, how to learn his love languages, like all this stuff that a lot of young couples don't have the time to learn because they rush into something. I'm not saying this is everyone, but I'm just saying for me and Noah, like, maybe this will make sense to you on why we're not married yet. And I think that's okay. Like, don't want to be compared to someone else because I'm my own story, I'm my own person, and me and Noah do not believe in divorce. Some people do. Me and Noah don't. We don't want to. So we're cutting that time by learning each other now, so it doesn't even have to be a factor at all or a thought at all for when we're married for forever. So catch us in 70 years with our coffees on the porch together, still making TikToks or something.
I will go insane with a husband and children. That is me, and that's why I never want to get married. I am selfish, I know, and I hold it with my full chest. When I wrote a list of why I wanted to get married, that's when I found out why I never want to get married. So companionship is out of it because I love my space. I like to come back from work or wherever it is and open my door knowing nobody's around. Honestly, I love that shit. I like to go on solo dates. I like to go on solo travels. I have enough companions. I have family. I have relatives. I have good friends. Love. Oh God, I can love myself. Love is from within. I cannot outsource love. Someone should not love me better than myself. And I don't need additional love. All the love I need is within. I don't need support from one particular person who is my husband. I have support from family and friends. That's why they're there, right? As I support them, that they also support me. I don't need a ride or die. I am my ride or die. I don't need leadership. Oh God, I remember when I said, I want a man who will lead me. God forbid that thing. I've never met a man who could lead me better than me. I'm a damn good leader. I've led myself well so far. I don't need a leader. I don't need to marry to smash. I talk to Token Makiwa and Solomon Buchi. The way I see God is not the way you see God. And that's why I'm saying marriage is not for me. And it was when I wrote why I wanted to be married, I found out that these were people's expectations of me. This was societal expectations of me. We were indoctrinated to believe that at a certain point we should team up with somebody for this life. But why? I'm enjoying my solo living. I'm a great auntie. I return the kids back, but I don't want a family of my own. The same way I came into this world, the same way I want to go out. Thank you very much.
Reason number 3, I will never marry again, or I'm not even interested in dating. I don't trust myself. When I look back on my life, I'm 58. I have never had a safe man in my life. They're protectors and all. Oh no, I've never had one of those. Not my biological father, not my stepfather, not my husband. And in the case of my husband, who is incredibly narcissistic, I married my mother. She was a narcissist. They are masters of disguise. masters of disguise. Outside of the house, people love them. Oh my God, he's so charming. She's so wonderful. And you're like, what? But they're masters of disguise. And then behind closed doors, it's a different situation. I don't trust myself to recognize the clues or the red flags that might be there in somebody before it's too late. And so for me, one of the reasons I won't be in a relationship again is I don't trust myself to not see that, coupled with I'm just really fucking happy living my own life right now, and that my safety and peace are everything. And I will stop at nothing to preserve that. And there's never, you can't be 100% sure with any man. Yes, all men to me, because of my lived experience, are not safe.
I do not want to get married. Don't get me wrong, marriage can be amazing for mutual support, raising kids, and creating a family. I'm not against marriage as an institution yet. For myself, I feel like a life partner is more than enough. I don't need papers or documents to prove my love or their love. It's actually even better because if we keep choosing each other after many, many years, that means the love is enough.
So let's talk about why I don't think I'm looking to get married or wishing to get married.
I want to talk about why at 52 as a Muslim woman I chose to eschew marriage. I've been absolutely delighted to find that the tide is turning. I want you to know that here I am in Bangladesh. I'm a British woman. I'm 52. And despite all the proposals and having had one child, I split up from the father. He wasn't born Muslim, by the way. He's an English white guy. What I want to say to my Muslim sisters is this. Now that I'm 52, the amount of misery I see in my beautiful sisters. And before you say it, men, I don't want to hear that it's not all men, okay? There is a huge problem. I have been never happier in my life. Yes, it's harder, but I remember looking at every man who wanted to marry me and just feeling utterly underwhelmed. All I saw was them wanting to control, to erase, to actually take my energy, my love, my skill set, my charisma, and just consume it like a vampire, where I would end up becoming quite a not free woman in plain servitude. I see today, whether it's in the UK or in Bangladesh, women, and this is where the only time I worry about the way, again, for example, so many men seem to be opting for women who wear the hijab, look modest, like little dollies. I see them as you know, like a flower that has a tight bud, so beautiful in its prime, but I see that they will never bloom because they are in the grasp of a society and culture that's got nothing to do with Islam, but everything about putting the man at the center. I see these women cook, clean, wash, drive, shop, educate, clean, everything, support the man, and it's embarrassing. I see these men and I know that if they were to be widowed, they would not last 5-10 minutes. You also see them, and you can see, I see them in my beautiful sister's eyes. Their dreams have been crushed and they look older, not necessarily in face, but in their spirit. But I'm 52 and I'm here to tell you that, look, here I am running my business. I'm the CEO of Love Dash.
Some people will find this very controversial and some people might even get angry, but hey, this is my personal opinion and I am going to voice it. I personally never wanted and I do not plan on getting married. It's not my dream, never been one, and I have nothing against the institution of marriage. It could be a beautiful one and it could be a nice celebration of a union, but I actually feel that I don't need a celebration or even documents to be fully committed to somebody. If in a parallel life I decided that I did want to get married, I personally would never in my life even consider taking my husband's last name and giving up mine. Maybe my husband's last name is very pretty, I don't know. Mine is nice too. I like Chumi or Chumicheva. Why would I give up part of my identity to be in a marriage? If it is a union of two individuals that are bringing their individualities to the table for a greater togetherness, why would one of the two individuals give up part of their identity? If them two belong to each other, nobody should be giving up anything. They should be themselves, right? So yeah, the concept of giving up a last name is absurd. And I think it's very outdated. Quote me on that if you want.
Reasons why I don't want to get married, I actually made a list because I have ADHD and I will go around the world before I get to the point. I'm kind of doing that right now. So starting with number 1, studies have shown that single childless women live longer, and I do believe that. I also don't like the idea of sharing my space with someone in the long-term sense. That really freaks me the fuck out. It's actually really disgusting and ghetto. Unless I'm married rich or into land or into, something tangible, I literally wouldn't benefit from it. I don't want kids, and because I don't want kids, I kind of don't really see the point in getting married, because marriage mostly seems like a construct to raise your children in, right? And that's just how I view things. I don't want to be emotionally responsible for someone long term. I feel like marriage would be a backup plan for me. I saw someone say that in a marriage, you're going to work 10 times harder for that life of leisure, married to, a provider man, blase, versus just doing it yourself and, working hard and getting your education and doing what you need to do to make sure you can provide the life that you want for yourself. Being the rich man versus marrying the rich man. Being the hypergamous woman that I am, there is always some sort of a benefit for me when it comes to having a man in my life. That's where I draw the line. I'm not looking for anything that goes further than that. I'm not looking for the commitment of marriage. And in order to be in my presence, there are some things that are non-negotiables, and that's just what it is. Those are just some of my many reasons. I don't judge anyone for what they desire. If a person wants to get married or have kids, that's to each their own. Seriously.
So guys, is this topic, is it relatable? Have you ever been in a situation where you question why you ever get married? Or you see maybe your sister, your cousins, your auntie, what they're experiencing in their marriages, and you begin to question, why is even marriage a thing? Why should a lady get married? Or because of that, you are beginning to get discouraged of even making the decision of getting married. Have you ever experienced such thing? Just let us know at the comment section, because this topic is so sensitive. It's so sensitive. Some people are of the opinion that marriage is achievement, that marriage is companionship, marriage is partnership. Marriage brings out the value in you. It brings out the beauty and the worth in you. It makes people to feel that you are responsible. It makes you not to be alone. When you are with somebody, there's this feeling of fulfillment and accomplishment. So according to some people, that they say that is the reason why they marry. But some people are saying that we can still achieve all those things without not getting married. You don't necessarily be to be married to feel fulfilled, to feel worthy, not to be lonely. Even if you are not married, you can still not be lonely. You can still have all these qualities and everything, all these desires, without getting married. Guys, drop it at the comment section. What do you think about this opinion of these beautiful ladies? Do you agree with them? Let us know.
This is going to be one of my hotter takes, but I don't believe that we should aspire to marriage or lifelong relationships. That does not mean that I think marriage or lifelong relationships are bad. My parents met when they were 16 and they are still madly in love. This is the reason for my claim. Humans are inherently evolving and changing organisms. The person I was 5 years ago is very different than the person I am today. My tastes are different. My preferences are different. What I like to do for fun is different. What I do for work is probably different. My triggers are different. What I like to eat is probably different.
It's just two very different people. And the person that I'm going to be 5 years from now is likely going to be very different than the person I am today. In my mind, holding my partner accountable to being compatible with the future version of myself that I don't even know who she is going to be is an arranged relationship. If we were married, that would be an arranged marriage. In a perfect world, it would be amazing if we had interval periods like a contract, since marriage is a contract, where you are able to check in and honestly ask each other, is this working? If it is, let's renew the contract. If it's not, then we terminate, and it's not a bad or a negative thing. We cannot dispute the fact that the divorce rate is over 50% now, I think. So why are we aspiring to something that has such a high failure rate? If we could destigmatize breakups or divorces, victims of abuse will have one less reason to feel like they're letting the world down or their family down or their communities down by ending the relationship, because right now the status quo is that if your relationship ends, there's something wrong with you guys. And if the issue is children, I believe that it's way better for the development of a child to have two happy parents than two parents who are unhappy but together. I don't think that a 90-year relationship where both individuals are happy and fulfilled has any more value than a 1-year relationship where both individuals are happy and fulfilled. On the contrary, I think a 90-year relationship where both individuals are miserable or merely settling for each other is probably not as valuable as a 1-year relationship that is amazing and brings both individuals an immense amount of joy and fulfillment. People change. That's not a bad thing.
For most of my life, especially when I was younger, I wanted to get married. I wanted to be someone's wife and get a little ringy ding on my finger. And looking back now, because I no longer want to get married, and marriage is one of the most scary and repulsive concepts that I can imagine, I look back and think that the only reason why I wanted to get married was because I was conditioned to believe that's what I should want. And I was conditioned to believe, like so many women are, that marriage is this thing about love and commitment and finding your soulmate, but that's just not true. And we're going to talk about why I no longer see marriage that way. And this video is not to shame the women that do want to get married and the women that are married, absolutely the fuck not. But I do think it's important for women to know and understand the true basis of marriage and why it was a thing in the first place. So marriage became a thing about 5,000 years ago when humans started to settle, farm land, and accumulated wealth. Men needed to know and keep track of their offspring. They needed to know which offspring was theirs. Because at that point it was kind of, mixed around, and the only people that were sure of who their offspring was the mothers, okay? Because how could you not know? It's coming out of your body. The men needed to know who their offspring was so that they knew who was going to inherit their property, their assets, their wealth. So in order for men to know who their offspring was, they needed to find a way to take ownership of the mothers. And that is where marriage comes into play. Marriage is simply a form of ownership over women. It is a way for men to know who owns what. The man now owns the woman and whatever offspring that she gives him. And of course, marriage was also a way to control women's sexuality and guarantee paternity, right? And you guys, this is why I literally cannot. Because back then, when this was created, when marriage became a thing, women were seen as property. Women were seen as something to be owned and not as human beings. Women were owned by their fathers before they were owned by the men that they married. And that is why today, even today, bro, the father walks the bride down the aisle because he's giving away ownership of that woman to another man. When marriage was created, wives had no legal identity of their own. They were only seen as wives, reproduction systems, and they were just used for labor and obedience, nothing else. And every time I see women having conversations about this exact topic, I go into the comments and there's a lot of people bringing in religion, okay, talking about how God said that marriage needs to be a thing for people, it's in the Bible. But what they don't realize is religion did not invent marriage, it absorbed it, okay? Because Christian church did not formalize marriage as a sacrament until 1100 CE. That's way after marriage became a thing in the first place. Moral of the story, marriage was only a thing that was created to be able to control and take ownership of women. And then religion coming into that, it's just something that reinforces that control and that ownership over women. It reinforces men being able to be seen as the standard. And even today, you know, I know that marriage is fluffed around as, you know, love and fairy tales and romance and, you know, celebrating a commitment with someone. I get that, I do. But I also think that there is a lot of subconscious programming around the fantasy with marriage, the romanticization of it, because it keeps women conforming to that standard. It keeps women in that role. It keeps women in that very old patriarchal conditioning. There's so much more I could go into, but I will be here talking for like 2 fucking hours. But you guys just let me know what you think. Ladies, let me know what you think in the comments.
I'm 50 years old. I'm married with 2 children, but that is not what I wanted for my life. There, I'm going to say it. Okay. So basically, I'm Indian. So a lot of my friends were ethnic. Okay. And they were all getting married very young. And so I was like, that's not for me. That life is not for me. So at 29, I decided I'm going to move to a different country. So I basically packed my bags and moved to America. Okay. So I was in New York for like 10 years. I worked in financial service sales. What that means is I had a British accent and I was in sales in America. Not even joking. Yeah, I had no interest in getting married, no interest in having kids. And that is because in New York, what I saw in the bars and out and about was like 40s, 50s, like old people out and about having a good time. So I was like, why the fuck would I ever get married? Then the problem started. My sister had a baby. I fell in love with my niece, like I've never in my life loved another being the way I fell in love with my niece. And at that point, I was like, do you know what? I still don't need a husband. If I had a kid, that would be okay, right? And then I was just like going about my business, having the time of my life. And then I accidentally, I wasn't looking, I met my husband while I was wingmanging for a friend who was meeting a blind date. Anyway, so I met my husband very late. I think I was 36, but shit happened fast. We were engaged, but I think our first anniversary, and married a couple of months later. Then we had 2 kids in 2 years. Then we moved back to England. And it's just like the whole point of this story is doesn't matter where you think you're going to end up. Your life could change in an instant. So for those of you that don't have kids, that want to have kids, maybe you will, right? There's always other options as well. For those of you that had kids and wish you hadn't, not a lot I can do about that, to be fair. But just don't compare yourself to other people all around, because everyone's on their different journey. This is turning into some sort of motivational speech. That's not what it was meant to be about. It was basically meant to be about just don't give up on yourself, ever. Just never give up on yourself. You can always pivot no matter what in life. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.
Okay, this is a very controversial opinion, but I feel like unless you're in your late 20s, you have no business getting married. And I feel this way based upon how much you change in your 20s. Like, if you do your 20s right, you will not be the same person at 23 versus 27. Like, completely different. And really, you're going to undergo what I call hockey stick growth. And so if you meet someone at the base of that hockey stick growth, are you really giving your relationship the best chance to thrive and last beyond a couple of years? Because I'm absolutely convinced that we marry people at the same energetic level as we are. And yes, obviously you can grow off your 20s, but I feel like the growth is different. The way my confidence was set up in my 20s, I would have married someone that didn't like me and I wouldn't have seen it.
The truth is that some marriages drain some women. Like when they are not lucky in finding partner, it really they will begin to question why they even find themselves in that situation. Marriage is supposed to be a beautiful thing, but when you are with the wrong person, it becomes toxic. Let's be sincere. So what do you think about this opinion of these ladies? Do you think they made the right decision by saying they don't want to get married, or they don't want to remarry again? Like some even said it before even testing marriage institution for the first time. They said they don't ever want to even marry. They don't want to try because of experiences, maybe because of their parents or their aunties and their environment, because of what they saw, or maybe due to the relationship that they were in before. So because of that, they are just discouraged. You think that is a nice decision? At the end of the day, for me, anything that makes you happy, for me, that is what I support. If you feel getting married will make you it will shake your mental health, then so be it. For me, everybody with their decision. It's good to respect people's opinion in life. At the end of the day, life is just per head. Anyway, guys, I will leave you guys at this junction till I come your way again next time. Please remain blessed and bye for now.